There are many worlds in VRChat, from horror maps to hangout worlds to clubs, bars, you name it. But it's not often we get to dive into the psychedelic side of things. Are you ready to join Club Gumball? Hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of Weird VRChat Worlds. Today we're going to be looking at Club Gumball, a psychedelic adventure puzzle map made by Screaming Color and Snugdad. The reason I want to bring your attention to this map is that it's extremely well polished, has tons of amazing visuals and animation, interesting puzzles, and of course, it's extremely weird. We will be seeing tons of strange visuals while we make our way through this puzzle map. I went through this map alone, but this map supports up to 5 people, so if you want to check it out afterwards, you can do so with friends. Also, before we start the video, it would be appreciative if you gave the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out a lot and allows me to show more people what crazy things are made in VRChat. Thanks, and here we go. Starting off our adventure, we get greeted to an important message. This map is best played in a non-public lobby as to not disturb the flow of the game. It also tells us to read the next text very carefully. On the next page are a bunch of important messages, like an epileptic seizure warning, potential motion sickness, and difficulty of some puzzles on different headsets. It also tells us to use headphones, since the dev made all the music themselves, which is really cool. Furthermore, you need to be at least this tall to enter this ride. I barely make the cut, but some of you might even be too short for some of it. If you want to make sure you are the right height, there is an optimized avatar ready for use. Finally, if some of the puzzles are deemed too hard, there is this orb you can click at every puzzle to skip it, so you can actually progress through the level. After reading all that, it's time to start our adventure. We're immediately greeted by this giant Gumball machine, and oh, what's this coming at us? Hello. It looks to be a floating table that follows around with an invitation to join us. It's very ominous and it looks almost like culty to a certain degree, which is very strange. There's also a token. I suppose this token will be used later in the map. The invitation told us to activate all 3 towers. This will be your main objective. The progress can all be followed here. Before we go and activate all 3 towers, let's have a peek inside the giant Gumball machine. One can navigate to the top using the stairs or the elevator. Currently there's actually nothing in the giant Gumball machine, but we will be coming back here later for some puzzle related business. On the map there are these 3 stations. These cannot be activated until we find ourselves a cube. Well, let's go find us a cube then. The only thing we can really interact with right now is this obelisk. It comes with a button as well. I wonder what will happen when we press it. It straight up turns into a pyramid with an entire environment in it. This is also where we find our first puzzles. Solving 2 puzzles here grants us access to the patented cube we so desire. The puzzles themselves seem to be laser oriented, so you have to guide the lasers to the red prism to beat them, like so. The trick here is that you can't move the lasers from the blue boundaries, so you need to get clever with it. Solving a puzzle allows you to push a button to finish it all up, creating some nice visuals while doing so. After solving the puzzles, time to unlock ourselves the cube. The cube itself is nothing more than a spinning shiny cube with some mysterious signs on them. We can use this cube to activate the other stations. Using the cube on one of the stations opens up the warp pipe, which allows us to venture forth into another new area. The drop itself lifts up to the map's mood so far, giving you wacky and strange visuals as you fall through it. We have ended up in a new place, once again with more laser-based puzzles. Have fun solving them. After solving the puzzle, or clicking the skip button since my controller's joystick is beyond busted, a bridge forms to a new platform. Here, something useful awaits us. This useful something is a power source. We need to bring this back up to the surface. Also, a warp portal materializes for us to get back easier. It is recommended to not let go of any items in these warp portals, since you might lose them forever. Not a good idea. Also, more strange visuals. These power cores can be brought to new locations on the map, indicated by giant light beams in the sky. The machines here resemble smaller Gumball machines, with a power source slot that fits our power source perfectly. Time for us to find out what will happen once we power these bad boys on with our power source. Taken aback with what just happened, it looks like we just enabled our first tower. Now we need to do this 2 more times. Time to do this again. Activate the station with our cube. Solve the laser-based button that awaits us at the bottom. Skip it entirely since your controller is beyond saving. Grab yourself a new power source. And escape out of there to activate another tower. Knowing what's gonna happen next, we can finally get ourselves a clean and controlled look at the tower emerging from the ground. Once again, I have to point out the amazing animation work that's being done here. It's fantastic. I love it. Alright, rinse and repeat. Activate the 3rd station, solve the 3rd underground puzzle, broken controllers, and grab yourself a Wait, what? It's not here? Turns out I messed something up, big time. I used one of the power sources on a different and wrong tower. Always make sure you use each power source to the Gumball machine that's closest to the stations. So that way you don't have any of these issues. Alright, redid the entire map, so time to activate the final tower. Sparing you the final tower, we now have unlocked all towers. Remember the count we use to keep track? It turned into a button. Let's find out what it does. Looks like the main Gumball machine has been turned into a spaceship. Looks like our adventure is going to turn interstellar. It is finally time for us to use our token we've been holding on to. Putting in our token seems to activate the Gumball machine. Let's see what it does. Looks like it activated our flight controls. Say goodbye to our synthwave looking planet. We are traveling. After being flung into space, we are greeted with a familiar face, Planet Earth. We're given a close look at it before we move on to the next planet. The next planet isn't really a planet, but a star. Say hello to our friend, the Sun. Once again, we're giving a close look before we get sent to another planet. The final planet we see is, I believe, Neptune, but it might also be Saturn. We're given one final look before we move on. I want to give an epileptic trigger warning for the next part coming up. I'm also going to let it speak for itself, so enjoy. that wraps up that section. We are on our final puzzle. We reached a space station of sorts with a bunch of red and blue orbs that make up the puzzle. We also see some Latin text. Sorry if I butchered this, but it says Creta cogitationes tuae vitae, which roughly translates to have been created by your thoughts of life. The puzzle itself starts off quite simple. Line up the correct color and number and it will form a bridge for you to cross. Without spoiling the solution, after solving all puzzles, a new event will happen. This event will lead us straight to the final area. So without further ado, enjoy this small little animation event. Looks like it's creating a path for us to cross. How nice. Time for us to take that path and see what's on the other side. Sparing you the long walk up the stairs, we see a distant area. Let's also fast forward this part so you don't have to. Before we see what's waiting for us, I wanted to show how beautiful this area looks and how nicely animated it always once again. All we get is another object. It tells us to join us. Well, let's head right into it. And that wraps up the map. This map was amazingly well made, with beautiful visuals and wonderful animation. I highly recommend you check it out. The link to the map is in the description. Shoutouts to the Screaming Caller and Snugdad for making the map. It's fantastic. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, since it really helps. And if you know a map you want me to check out, you can always suggest it to me on my Twitter or here in the comments on YouTube. Also, I set up a Discord. If you want to join it, it's in the description below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the creator, and I'll see you guys in another one. Peace.